In September 2022, underwater explosions ruptured the Nord Stream pipelines deep in the Baltic Sea. These conduits were built to transport Russian gas to Germany, but a series of deliberate blasts tore open 3 of the 4 steel strings. This image shows the massive plume of gas boiling to the surface near the island of Bornholm. The rupture released roughly 465,000 tons of methane, making it the largest human-caused methane leak ever recorded. The lack of immediate evidence created a vacuum for competing theories. For months, officials oscillated between blaming a Russian false flag operation and accusing the United States Navy of a covert sabotage mission. This is the German Federal Court of Justice. Over 3 years, investigators have quietly assembled a forensic case that rules out Washington and Moscow. These findings have placed Berlin in a difficult position. The forensic trail leads directly to a key ally, creating a diplomatic crisis that many Western leaders are desperate to avoid. The investigation centers on a small Ukrainian team and a 50-foot sailing yacht called the Andromeda. The crew chartered the boat in Rostock, Germany, using forged identities to slip out into the Baltic undetected. Because the boat was placed into winter storage without being cleaned, detectives were able to find traces of HMX. This is a military-grade explosive, and it was found on both the cabin table and inside the bathroom. This map traces the route of the Andromeda through the Baltic. By reconstructing the yacht's GPS data, investigators proved the vessel sailed directly to the coordinates where the pipelines were blown apart. The crew used genuine state-issued passports that had been registered under false names. This detail is a major indicator of state involvement. Fabricating credible credentials within a real national passport system requires a level of official access that a freelance cell simply does not have. As we see on this map of Europe, the resulting arrest warrants have exposed a deep ideological divide between Germany and its neighbors. In August 2025, Italian authorities arrested the alleged coordinator of the operation, Serhiy Kuznetsov. He was taken into custody while on a holiday at a campsite near Rimini. Following an intense legal fight, Italy extradited Kuznetsov to Germany. He is now held in isolation at a high-security prison in Hamburg, facing charges related to terrorism and sabotage. A second suspect in Poland managed to escape. He crossed the border into Ukraine in a diplomatic car, leaving the German warrant unserved. A Polish judge later refused to extradite another suspect, ruling that the destruction of the pipeline was a justified act of defensive war. This is former Ukrainian Commander-in-Chief Valery Zaluzhny. Investigative reports claim he personally oversaw the operation after it was hatched during a night of heavy drinking. Both Zaluzhny and President Zelensky deny these claims. Zelensky has stated that Ukraine would never act in such a way, while his advisors have dismissed the investigation as a provocation. This divergence is fracturing the Western narrative. Italy is treating the explosion as a crime, Poland is endorsing it as an act of war, and Ukraine is denying it entirely. The forensic evidence is now creating severe domestic pressure within Germany. This image shows a rally for the far-right AfD party. They are now weaponizing the investigation to demand reparations and to attack the billions of euros in military aid being sent to Kyiv. This is London's High Court. It is the site of a €400 million lawsuit between the pipeline owners and their insurers. The insurance companies are refusing to pay for the damage. They argue the blast was a state-sponsored act of war, which would be excluded from the policy. This has created a significant legal trap. A commercial judge must now decide if an attack on civilian infrastructure, allegedly carried out by an ally, is legally defined as an act of war. Western leaders have tried to maintain a diplomatic silence regarding the perpetrator, but as the German criminal trial moves into open court, that silence will be impossible to sustain, forcing the alliance to finally confront the evidence.